great, wholesome, cloudy ass Thursday, 30th day of July. Yo, no, we got one more day in July. July is a 31-day month. So if you're reading your Proverbs, you still got to read Proverbs 31 tomorrow, the proverbial wife. But speaking of the proverbial wife, yo, I met this dude about 2-3 weeks back, 41-year-old male, probably at entering the peak of his financial game. You get what I'm saying? Not the peak, but entering a point where, like, dude's a millionaire, bro. Like, multiple apartments in Manhattan, living in Manhattan, living in a place like the Greenwich. You get what I'm saying? Like, dude's a fucking millionaire, hedge fund manager, etc. Dude won kids, but the wife only wants dogs. And I could feel it, bro. That empath fucking bullshit. You know how some people say, oh, I'm an empath, but they so full of shit they can't even control their emotions. They are nowhere near on their emotional development and spiritual development to where they can actually help people adequately. But I've never considered myself an empath, but I've always been somebody that, yo, I could literally feel people, and I could feel it, bro. I could feel it in his heart. Like, he was like, yeah, I want children, but, you know, the wife doesn't want any. And I had to bite my tongue. I had to really bite my tongue to not tell him, bro, you go to the Philippines, you go to Colombia, you need you a second wife. I had to bite my tongue to not, you know, express myself as bluntly as I would, just because the wife was also there. In the back of my mind, you know, I'm telling him, well, I'm telling him about myself, because dude started asking, oh, you do martial arts? I wish you know, I could do that type of stuff. And yeah, I tell him I'm a personal trainer, you know, I'm a personal martial arts instructor, but I also see myself as a life coach. So I try to incorporate my life coaching skills, my communication skills, my personal development skills into the martial arts. So when I teach, when I'm instructing in martial arts, I'm also using that space and time to communicate whatever message that individual that I'm working with needs at the moment. And he's just like super into it. He's just continuing to ask me questions and things of that nature. And as I'm communicating with him, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yo, you can really get the money, but there are certain things that money can't buy. And I've acquired those things. So I'm over here, you know, that, like I said, there's certain things that money just can't buy. And I'm grateful that for the past 12 years, since leaving the military, 24, realizing how inadequate I felt inside, and my incessant pursuit to remedy every inadequacy that I felt within, that money could not remedy for me, because money wasn't an issue. You know, since I joined the military, because of that, because I never wanted money to be an issue, money stopped being an issue from the moment that from 19 years of age to now. Money has never been an issue. I've known how to live on the minimum. You get what I'm saying? Especially sleeping in deserts on the ground, sleeping in the woods, in the ground, in the wet, cold ground, in any condition. Just living under those conditions for 5 years straight helped me get to that point. You know, so coming out of the military at 24, even though I had money, I was unwise with the money, but money was never an issue. Being broke wasn't an issue. Going into the military, being broke was an issue, but coming out of the military, being broke stopped being an issue, because I learned how to just live so miserably that the miserable conditions that I had coming out, they weren't nothing compared to the miserable conditions that I dealt with in the military. But yeah, since getting out of the military, realizing that I was inadequate in all these other areas of my life, in my spiritual area, my relationship with Source, and my relationship with myself, you know what I'm saying, in my courage, in my fitness, in my relationship with family, with friends. So I started focusing on those things, and now here I am at 36, where I can sit across from millionaires, from multimillionaires, and I'm good. I don't feel any less than sitting across from individuals that financially they are at a level of development, of financial development, where I am nowhere near close to yet. You get what I'm saying? But in other areas of life, in my relationship with myself, with others, in the standards that I have for myself and for the people that I allow around me, I've passed those things. And as I sat across from this individual, I could just feel the smallness within him as it related to the spiritual aspect, as it related to standing up for himself and standing up to his woman. You get what I'm saying? I was like, damn, bro, like, you know, I'm just talking to him, and I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, bro, I wish I could be more blunt, but you're not paying me for that, so I'm gonna keep my 2 senses to myself. And that's one thing that I've learned also, is to keep my 2 cents to myself. That was that individual. 2 weeks back, I met a dude that was in a relationship with a female that he was paying everything. Moved her into a condo, 10 months living together. You know, he's just bending over backwards to make her happy. Probably making, what are y'all waiting on, bro? Probably making over 200-300K a year, bending over backwards for some female that didn't even appreciate it, and then manipulating him into thinking that he needs therapy because he didn't want a fucking dog. He actually wanted marriage and children. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm over here telling this dude, I'm like, yo, bro, you're not even in your mid-30s. You just turned 30. Like, in 10 years at 40, you're still gonna look how you look now, or even better if you work on your health and wellness. You don't need to be focused on women. You need to focus on yourself and establishing yourself. And the thing is that, you know, for a lot of men that are financially set, financially capable of you know, sustaining a healthy, of provisioning for women, all they need to do is, yo, you need to focus on establishing order around your life, structure, standards for yourself and for the women that you welcome into your life, and your preferences. If you don't know your preferences, if you don't know your standards, you're just going to allow anybody to come into your life and to order your life around. This individual was telling me, like, yo, I lost myself for 10 months. I stopped doing the things that I actually enjoyed doing just to please this individual. So, and it's not just with men, it's also women. A lot of people, because they don't establish any order and structure around their life, any standards for themselves and the people that they allow in their life, you know, any boundaries, you don't establish any boundaries that you won't allow anybody to cross. And if they do cross it, they're out of your life. If we don't establish these things, if we don't establish order, structure, boundaries, you know what I'm saying? Standards, preferences, yo, you're just going to allow anybody to come into your life and to completely, you're going to lose yourself. You're going to lose yourself because you don't know yourself. You haven't established non-negotiables with yourself and with people that come into your life that you don't allow yourself to violate. And so because you haven't established these things, you will violate yourself. And in doing so, you will not have the capacity to give the absolute best of yourself to those people that come into your life, because you're just going to let them walk all over you. Because you haven't been doing right by yourself. And as I started thinking about this dude like a day or two ago. Maybe the fucker's thinking about me, and that's why I'm thinking about him. And it, you know, it hurt me, because I'm like, damn, bro, you a dude, bro. You're a multi-millionaire, bro. If you can maintain multiple women, you do not have to settle for one. This is why I wholeheartedly believe in polygamy, yo, because you're going to meet women that you're going to fall in love with, or even if you don't fall in love with them, you are going to develop a great amount of love for said woman. But what if that woman doesn't have it in her to, either she doesn't have the capacity to give you children because, you know, maybe her lady parts aren't working well, or she doesn't want to give you children? Are you going to have the intestinal fortitude to walk the fuck away? Are you going to have the intestinal fortitude to either walk the fuck away or to verbalize your concerns to see if she can meet you at a point where she can help? Yo, in the Bible, yo, there was wives that couldn't provide children to her husband, so she let the maid bear the husband's children, and she just helped taking care of it, yo. But the ego needs to be moved out of the way, and consideration and compassion. This woman's talking about getting 12 dogs. Lady, if you don't get the fuck up out of here and go fucking get pregnant by this dude. Like, I'm just watching this lady run around making sure that everybody is okay. And she's just anxiously moving around, like just kind of rushing, not patiently moving with a purpose. Like in the military, you know, they tell us, move with a purpose. That's how I try to move throughout my life. I try to move with a purpose. Wherever I'm going somewhere, I'm moving with a purpose. This lady is like anxiously moving around. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, yo, you need some children in that womb. You either need some children in that womb, or you need to go adopt some children. You need to adopt some children, or you need to allow your husband access to women that you are okay with also, and that meet his standards and preferences, so that they can come into your life and bear your children. I'm just thinking this, but man, listen, yo, get yourself in order, gentlemen. This is why I always go back to like scriptures, because the scripture says, prepare your field, then build your house. Get your house in order before you start doing anything else outside of your home, outside of your field. But first of all, prepare the field, then build the house. Your body itself, your life, your lifestyle in itself is the field, and it is also the house. The house is also what you build with your with whoever you select to come into your life, whoever you welcome into your life. Because you don't have to accept anybody in your life as a man. You get what I'm saying? You welcome them into your life. Women too, you welcome people into your life. But we are the one who determines who gets protection, provision, and leadership and direction and things of that nature, because we are the men. We are the one given that authority. But if as a man you don't have any authority over the things that you are given governorship over, like Adam, right? He didn't set the boundaries for Eve. He was too passive. When he saw Eve getting close to that tree, right? We're going to use that analogy. When he saw Eve getting close to that tree, instead of saying, hey, yo, woman, get your ass over here, stay the fuck away from that. If you don't stay, if I see you one more time next to that tree, I'm kicking you out of my garden. If he would have done that, Eve would have never brought him the apple. She probably would have ate the apple in secret. If she still went and got the apple. You get what I'm saying? She probably would have ate that shit in secret. Never would have told Adam shit about it. Adam would have never ate the apple. And he still would have been in his fucking garden. Get your garden in order. Get your field in order. Establish order, structure, boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Put a fence around it. Your standards and your preferences. Once you do those things, then go about dealing in your Father's business. Your Father in heaven. You get what I'm saying? Your Father in heaven, and right here in your head in the heavens. All right? Go about getting out of your Father's way and allowing your higher self, source, divine intelligence, infinite intelligence to operate through you as wisely as possible, so that you don't get kicked out of your garden, so that you stay in your garden and you can enjoy the fruits of your labor to the best of your capacity. Work so hard that the almighty, divine intelligence, infinite intelligence, the universe has no other option but to remove any undesirable from your way and say, it is not right that this man should be alone. I'm going to send to him a helper or a couple of helpers in alignment with his purpose. Alhamdulillah.